Hey you, welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
I'm husband.
I'm wife.
And together we're reading the Bible.
Starting with Genesis and eventually ending with Revelations, we're working through every book and offering our atheist 2 cents.
Or shekels.
Yeah, those. We're asking questions and pointing out all the nonsense.
We aren't academics or scholars.
Nope. In fact, when it comes to religion, we really don't know anything at all.
What we've learned so far is that God's a dick.
Oh, he really is, isn't he? If you're interested in how we reached this startling conclusion, maybe start from episode 1.
Otherwise, jump in anywhere. It's all good.
Yep. Husband.
Wife.
Do you remember what happened last time?
Leviticus.
Yes, we started Leviticus. But
or Leviticus.
Oh, I like that.
That's how you taught me how to spell it.
Yeah, it's true.
I was like, how do you spell it? And you're like, Leviticus.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
That was very helpful, by the way.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks.
But do you remember what happened in the Leviticus?
I remember Moses was back.
Yeah. That's all you remember?
The end.
It was the rules about the oils and the animals.
That's right. The how to slaughter them.
Yeah.
And shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much it.
And God wants to replace your death with an animal's death.
Right.
Or something along those lines.
And a pleasing aroma to the Lord.
Right.
And
yeah.
Incense and stuff.
Yeah. So that was, yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Okay.
So now we're going to learn more rules apparently in Leviticus chapters 3 and 4.
All right. Awesome. And make sure you guys join us on sacrilegiousdiscourse.com. We are constantly getting that closer to upgraded to where we are on our podcast. So any help, purchasing products from there or anything like that helps us out tremendously. Definitely love it. Sacrilegiousdiscourse.com. All right, let's go do Leviticus 3 and 4.
3 and 4.
3 and 4.
Here we go.
Hey, wife.
Yes, husband.
Did you know that we are now on Patreon?
Yes, because you told me, but also, no, tell me more.
So we're on Patreon now.
Are we?
We are. And our supporters can go there and support us. And we have multiple levels all the way up to You Killed God.
That sounds really drastic and escalated quickly-ish.
Well, no, there's multiple levels before there. So it escalates on a sliding scale of, cheap to not cheap. Oh. But, we can definitely use any amount. So, any support is always appreciated.
So what exactly is Patreon?
It's a place where you can show your support for our podcast. And
just our podcast?
Any podcast or any performer. But, we're the ones that, you're listening to right now. So maybe you should, support us. That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. But we love you anyway.
So all you got to do is go to Patreon, look up Sacrilegious Discourse. It's actually patreon.com/sacrilegious discourse is our actual main page there. So head on over and send us some love.
Yeah. All right. Here we are. Leviticus chapter 3. Peace offerings.
Peace offerings.
Peace, brother. Peace.
There's no murder in this one?
We'll see.
Okay.
In order to describe peace, you would have to compare it to something which may be a murder.
So is that what all the murder and rape and incest and everything is leading up to? The peace offerings?
I have no idea. I couldn't tell you.
They fix it all here?
Let's read and find out, asshole.
Thank God they have peace offerings.
Oh, God. If you present an animal from the herd as a peace offering to the Lord, it may be a male or a female, but it must have no defects. No ugly puppies.
Those defects. It can't be
no ugly puppies for the Lord.
Deformed in any way. For God's sakes, why would you give a deformed thing to the Lord?
Only adorable kittens for the Lord.
That's crazy.
Lay your hand on the animal's head and slaughter it at the entrance of the tabernacle.
You know what? I think I would prefer to be a deformed animal in those days.
Yeah. Then Aaron's sons, the priests, will splatter its blood against all sides of the altar.
I love splattering blood. Don't you?
No. Remember last time we talked about how it would be better to donate a bird because then you don't have to do it?
Well, yeah. Yeah, it's probably, like we said, it's probably a status thing or something.
Yeah, but I don't care about keeping up with the Joneses.
Right. But you didn't comment. don't you love splattering blood?
I abhor it.
Oh, okay.
You can do all the splattering of the blood.
I'll definitely do all the splattering of the blood.
If we have to build a tabernacle.
Yeah.
Okay. The priest must present part of this peace offering as a special gift to the Lord. This includes all the fat around the internal organs, the 2 kidneys and the fat around them near the loins, and the long lobe of the liver, all the junk in the trunk. These must be removed with the kidneys. And Aaron's sons will burn them on top of the burnt offering on the wood burning on the altar.
Those poor people that brought the birds are like, we're hungry, though. You're just burning that shit.
I know, what a waste. It is a special gift, a pleasing aroma to the Lord. I know I discussed last week that burning animal flesh is not a pleasing aroma to anybody.
Right? Yeah. And did they take the hair off first because you like burnt hair?
I would imagine so.
I guess they're just burning the internal organs, so like maybe
gross.
That's different. Yeah, still.
Ugh. If you present an animal from the flock as a peace offering to the Lord, it may be a male or a female, but it must have no defects. Once again, if you present a sheep as your offering, bring it to the Lord. Oh my God, these are like the same things over and over again.
Yeah.
Lay your hand on its head and slaughter it in front of the tabernacle.
Remember, Bible means repetitive.
It's true.
Right.
Aaron's sons will then splatter the sheep's blood against all sides of the altar. The priest must present the fat of this peace offering as a special gift to the Lord. This includes the fat of the broad tail cut off near the backbone, all the fat around the internal organs, the 2 kidneys and the fat around them near the loins, and the long lobe of the liver. That's a funny phrase. The long lobe of the liver.
Mm-hmm.
That's the name of my next band.
Right.
Yeah. These must be removed with the kidneys, and the priest will burn them on the altar. It is a special gift of food presented to the Lord. If you present a goat as your offering, bring it to the Lord, lay your hand on its head, and slaughter it in front of the tabernacle. Aaron's sons will then splatter the goat's blood against all sides of the altar.
I feel like we're on repeat here.
Well, we just discussed that.
I know, but it's like literally just repetitive.
I'm just curious, honestly, about what makes them decide whether you do it on the north side or you do it on the east side or you do it on all the sides.
That is true. I was wondering the same thing. Like, that's very interesting. Like, that sounds, again, very pagan.
Right.
Like, north, south, east, west type stuff.
I'm just wondering, like, on the one hand, I would think that it has to do with the rising and setting of the sun, but I do specifically recall that there was a time that they splattered the blood on the north side.
Right.
Which, obviously, the sun neither rises nor sets in the north.
Yeah.
So, what's that about? And why all the sides?
I don't know. I mean...
Is it just arbitrary, or...
I'm sure that there's some reasoning behind it somewhere, but it's definitely not spelled out in the Bible.
Right.
And I'm betting that it's carryover from pagan rites.
Right, I'm sure
so
you're
therefore,
right.
the meaning is going to be lost in some pagan rite that was handed down, and they're
handed down orally.
And they're utilizing this tradition in Christianity, so therefore, it's not going to spell it out, because if they spelled it out, they'd be spelling out a pagan rite.
That's true. That is true. So we all just accept the rules of hopscotch, throw the rock, and jump.
Yeah.
Okay. The priest must present part of this offering as a special gift to the Lord. This includes all the fat around the internal organs, the 2 kidneys, and the fat around them near the loins, and the long lobe of the liver.
The long lobe of the liver.
The long lobe of the liver. It's hard.
Mm-hmm.
These must be removed with the kidneys, and the priest will burn them on the altar. It is a special gift of food, a pleasing aroma to the Lord. All the fat belongs to the Lord, motherfucker.
Is it a pleasing aroma to the Lord?
You must never eat any fat or blood. This is a permanent law for you, and it must be observed from generation to generation wherever you fucking live.
Well, I guess I'm screwed, because I kind of like the fat sometimes.
Never eat the fat or the blood. I wonder if Christians living today understand that they are breaking the Bible
when they eat a rare steak.
When they eat fat or blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is a rule. Generation to generation. Don't do that shit.
Yeah. Make sure.
They keep doing it.
Yep. Well, I mean, it's... You got to live by the Bible, but only the parts of the Bible that you want to live by.
Right, right.
And that's very, very important to being a Christian, is making sure you live exactly by the Bible, but only the parts that you like.
And also to tell everybody that you're doing it right.
Yeah.
And that everybody else is doing it wrong.
Right. I was going to say, you got to make sure that you tell people that they're doing it wrong, and the end that they're going to go ahead and burn in hell.
Yeah. definitely.
That's definitely very, very important to
Yes.
say.
Yes, definitely.
Oh, and write letters and send them to people randomly.
Oh my gosh,
and drop
we should talk about that.
Drop things in their doors and stuff.
We have received, since we moved into this house, actually, we've lived here a few years, but in the last year, I would say, we have received 2 letters from random people inviting my husband, not me, to church.
Handwritten
Letters to my husband from women. And I got to tell you, I'm not a jealous God, but I am.
Are you claiming you're a God?
I'm not a jealous God,
but I am.
You were going
to go with jealous wife there, not God.
No, but
okay.
I am rather peeved that some woman thinks that she can just handwrite a letter to my husband and invite him any fucking where, anywhere. Church, a bar, I don't give a fuck. Who the fuck do you think you are that you can just do that?
My favorite is when you're working retail and somebody hands you $1 million bill.
Oh, God.
That's got the, invite and all the stuff for church on it.
Yeah.
And, praise God, blah, 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 blah.
Or around Easter time when you get the pamphlets in your door. Are you saved?
Right.
Jesus Christ, He is risen.
Wasn't there the one person that came to our door one time and they're like,
yeah.
And you told him that we had a church and he was like, yeah, right.
Yeah. And I was like, excuse
you? Apparently we just exude anti-Christianity.
Yeah.
I mean, based on what that person's reaction was.
I was trying to be polite. I didn't want to just say, no, motherfucker, get off my porch. I was just trying to be, non-confrontational, thank you for the info. We already have a church. Yeah. And he was like, yeah, right. And I was like, excuse me? You came to my porch.
Oh, come on. These people have nothing better to do than, drive past people's houses to spy on them to make sure that they're not going to church and shit. They probably drive past our house on their way to church and they're like, they're always home on Sundays and da-da-da-da-da. Who gives a fuck?
Let me burn.
Mind your own damn business.
I choose to burn. Just let me.
All right, we should probably move on to,
that was
the next chapter,
the end of chapter 3. Yeah, let's move on to chapter 4.
See you guys in a minute.
Husband.
Why did you do that?
I don't know.
We're starting a new chapter. I know we took a long break, but that's not where we're at.
It felt like the thing to do.
No, that was incorrect.
Okay, let's start over.
Let's try that again.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're in Leviticus chapter 4.
Leviticus.
Sin offerings.
Sin offerings. So from peace offerings to sin offerings.
Yeah, and I forgot what the other offerings were last week, but they're all offerings.
Burnt offerings. I know we covered burnt offerings.
Oh, yeah, burnt offerings.
So we're covering all the offerings, apparently.
How many fucking offerings do you have to make, and why?
I don't know. It's a lot to keep track of, right?
It really is. I don't care for it.
Yeah.
Then the Lord said to Moses, give the following instructions to the people of Israel. This is how you are to deal with those who sin unintentionally.
Wait. These are when Moses went up to top of Mount Sinai and talked to the Lord for 40 days or whatever, this is the shit they were covering?
I think so.
Is that correct?
I think so.
Okay.
Sounds right.
I just wanted to make sure, because, there's a lot of fucking rules, and we're relying on Moses, I think, to, disperse these to everybody.
Right.
So, and he already dropped the first set of commandments.
Right.
And then he murdered a bunch of people for worshiping a calf.
Yeah.
Golden calf.
Right.
And now he's telling us how to live.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be clear, make sure I got that all straight.
I think you are correct.
Okay.
I'm no pro, though. So.
Right. I mean, just in case everybody out there doesn't know, we read this completely off the cuff. We've never read the Bible before.
Ever.
And we don't do research on it. So if we sound uninformed and dumb, we pretty much are.
We are, definitely.
But also, so is the Bible.
Well, and also, you should be able to go into it and, find chunks of goodness and decency.
To be completely fair, I don't think we're really looking for that aspect of it. Although,
I was at first. I was when I first started.
We might be able to mention that was, halfway decent. I think we have a couple of times.
We have. When something's
But only
nice.
a couple, because there's not been a whole lot of niceness going on.
I think we were being very generous when that happened.
We were stretching there, giving it, because with all the rape and
I was going to say, with rape and incest aside.
They needed a little bit of okay, that was all right.
I mean, Moses did learn the skill of delegation.
And God did say don't kill people, which that's good.
Right.
That's good.
And sometimes don't rape people.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are good things.
Yeah, definitely.
This is how you are to deal with those who sin unintentionally by doing anything that violates one of the Lord's commands. How do you disobey a command unintentionally, you think?
If you eat fat by accident.
And you aren't aware.
And you aren't aware.
And you find out afterwards. And somebody goes, ha!
I left the smallest sliver of fat in there and you didn't even notice it.
Or, yeah. Okay.
Now you sinned. You're going to fucking hell.
Okay, so this is how you don't go to fucking hell.
Sorry, that was my best, evil voice there.
It was bad.
It was bad?
It wasn't good.
Come on.
Because you don't sound evil. You're not an evil person. You can't do evil.
Shit.
You can't lie, really.
I can be scary sometimes.
Only when you're pissed.
Yeah.
Only when you're really pissed.
So I'm never pissed during the podcast. So.
No, and really,
generally I'm not pissed at all.
Yeah, I mean, I can,
Although I did want to punch a guy the other night because he wouldn't wear a mask and then he yelled at me and called me a libtard, so.
Yeah. Well, he's a dummy.
That was where I work, so just FYI.
Yeah.
I got yelled at by...
A customer.
Quite vehemently, even.
Wow.
And thought I was going to be in a fight for a minute. So, there's that.
But you didn't pick a fight with him. He picked a fight with you.
No. I was nice as could be.
Yeah.
I mean, I was nice as could be within reason.
Given the circumstances.
Making him either wear a mask or get the hell out.
Yeah. Not that it was your personal rule. It's the company's rule.
Right, but I don't think it's a bad rule.
Right. No, but I'm just saying, even if, you were dude, I'm on your side, but it's still company policy that you absolutely have to wear a mask. It's not even my fault.
I mean, it's only been over a year. I think everybody should be pretty well used to this at this point, but they act like they're not, so whatever.
Well, I think we could say a lot about politics, but let's read on.
Let's go on with the Bible, though.
Yeah. If the high priest sins, bringing guilt upon the entire community, he must give a sin offering for the sin he has committed. He must present to the Lord a young bull with no defects. He must bring the bull to the Lord at the entrance of the tabernacle, lay his hand on the bull's head, and slaughter it before the Lord.
Let me guess, then they splatter the blood on the walls.
I bet you're right. And I bet they have to remove the entrails and all that.
Burn it and shit.
The high priest will then take some of the bull's blood into the tabernacle, dip his finger in the blood, and sprinkle it 7 times before the Lord in front of the inner curtain of the sanctuary.
Sprinkle it?
Sprinkle instead of splatter.
That's so much less dramatic than splattering it.
Yeah. This is a little different.
So,
they changed it up.
The high priest sends, and he just has to sprinkle some shit over here.
He sprinkles it.
He doesn't splatter anything. He just
no
sprinkles
splattering, sprinkles.
Okay.
The priest will then put some of the blood on the horns of the altar for fragrant incense that stands in the Lord's presence inside the tabernacle. This is some pagan-ass shit.
Yeah.
He will pour out the rest of the bull's blood at the base of the altar for burnt offerings at the entrance of the tabernacle. This is nasty. This is so pagan.
Yeah.
Then the priest must remove all the fat of the bull to be offered as a sin offering. This includes all the fat around the internal organs, the 2 kidneys, and the fat around them near the loins, and the long lobe of the liver.
Yeah.
He must remove these along with the kidneys, just as he does with cattle offered as a peace offering. Oh my God, bless you. What the fuck? That was ridiculous. Who even are you?
Whew, had to sneeze. So sorry, everybody.
That was not good. Okay, so anyway.
Yeah.
Are you all right?
I'm great.
Okay. And burn them on the altar of burnt offerings. But he must take whatever is left of the bull, its hide, meat, head, legs, internal organs, and dung.
Dung, that's very important. You got to get that shit in there.
Get the shit and carry it away to a place outside the camp that is ceremonially clean, the place where the ashes are dumped. There on the ash heap, he will burn it on a firewood.
Yeah, because you don't want to burn shit inside the tabernacle.
Right, but I think that place where they burn all this stuff is called Gehenna, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
And that's where they, burn perpetual fires where they burn trash and the bodies of the dead and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
And that's, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's where the idea of the burning fires of hell come from.
Ah.
And Gehenna is the actual physical trash fires. And it's turned into some kind of hell landscape thing. So.
Got it.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
If the entire Israelite community sins by violating one of the Lord's commands, but the people don't realize it, they are still guilty. Innocence is no excuse.
Well, the entire community.
Yeah.
How does the entire community sin?
Maybe they got together for a gathering and somebody put some fat in the community bowl. And so they all ate the fat.
Okay. All right.
When they become aware of their sin, the people must bring a young bull as an offering for their sin and present it before the tabernacle.
What if they don't become aware of it, though?
Then they have sinned forever in the eyes of the Lord. The end.
But, like, do you get a memo from God? Do you get a, like, I
don't know.
Or do you just go to hell?
Probably you just go to hell.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you no longer get to be God's chosen people. I don't know. Apparently they never sinned because they are still God's chosen people.
I guess we haven't really covered hell, though, have we?
No.
So maybe hell isn't in the Old Testament.
Yeah, I don't know. We're not there yet.
Yeah, no, I know.
The elders of the community must then lay their hands on the bull's head and slaughter it before the Lord. The high priest will then take some of the bull's blood into the tabernacle, dip his finger in the blood, and sprinkle it 7 times before the Lord in front of the inner curtain. He will then put some of the blood on the horns of the altar for fragrant incense that stands in the Lord's presence inside the tabernacle. He will pour out the rest of the blood at the base of the altar for burnt offerings at the entrance of the tabernacle.
So I was doing some things at work today, and I've made it easier to like do these things by posting up instructions in this little like file thing that you can pull for like doing returns or doing receiving and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I'm just imagining like all these things, like they'd have like a filing system with parchment, and it says, okay, for burnt offerings, for sins of the community, for sins of the high priest, for sins of whatever, and
so
like
ancient Post-it notes.
Like, hold on, I gotta do this. Okay, let's go get the fucking bull. And okay, hold on. Is my machete with me? No? Grab that. All right.
Am I wearing the right robes?
Hold on, I got to cut its fucking head off. Okay, there. I got that. All right, now we got to
finger.
Is it sprinkle or splatter the fucking blood?
Oh, and am I doing the sticking my finger in, or are you guys?
Are you sure you got this right? I need to be absolved of my sins.
Oh God, is it the north side or all the sides?
Don't fuck this up for me.
Yeah. Then the priest must remove all the animal's fat and burn it on the altar, just as he does with the bull offered as a sin offering for the high priest. Through this process, the priest will purify the people, making them right with the Lord, and they will all be forgiven. Then the priest must take what is left of the bull and carry it outside the camp and burn it there, just as is done with a sin offering for the high priest. This offering is for the sin of the entire congregation of Israel. Damn. If one of Israel's leaders sins by violating one of the commands of the Lord his God, but doesn't realize it, he is still guilty. When he becomes aware of his sin, he must bring as his offering a male goat with no defects. He must lay his hand on the goat's head and slaughter it at the place where burnt offerings are slaughtered before the Lord. This is an offering for his sin. Then the priest will dip his finger in the blood of the sin offering and put it on the horns of the altar for burnt offerings.
What if they had like the, you know how like you have like the heart palpitations and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Which would technically be a defect, right? But they didn't have like the tools to know that back then.
Yeah,
so like, how many people accidentally brought a defective animal?
Oh yeah.
To slaughter before the Lord, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's
just curious.
Kind of sad. Oopsies.
Like there's all kinds of things they didn't know that would,
right.
You couldn't pick out the perfect one.
No.
There's no way.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I don't know.
And besides, I think everything's somewhat defective. You can't. Nothing's perfect.
There's no such thing.
What
as
defines perfect?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting off on a tangent here.
Look at you, Mr. Philosophy. He will pour out the rest of the blood at the base of the altar. Then he must burn all the goat's fat on the altar, just as he does with the peace offering. Through this process, the priest will purify the leader from his sin, making him right with the Lord, and he will be forgiven. Oh my God, this is more of the same. But okay, it's one more. One more. Ready? Okay.
All right.
If any of the common people sin by violating one of the Lord's commands, but they don't realize it, they are still guilty.
Of course.
When they become aware of their sin, they must bring as an offering for their sin a female goat with no defects.
See, there's so many like just slight variations. Yeah. It gets really confusing.
It really does.
Hopefully they have like a an advocate that comes out and like, okay,
a lawyer.
You did this sin.
solicitor.
You need to get this together, and this together, and then come to the tabernacle, okay?
Yeah, just do these steps, and then I'll come back and I'll tell you what to do.
I'm just imagining there was there's Moses over here. He's the guy that kind of started the whole thing. And then there's Aaron and his sons. And then they must have hired somebody to
keep track
let
of the
people
rules.
know which sin they did. Because how the hell could you keep track of all this shit?
I mean, if it was your job, you would.
I guess.
They must lay a hand on the head of the sin offering and slaughter it at the place where burnt offerings are slaughtered. Then the priest will dip his finger in the blood and put it on the horns. So these last two, they don't have to do any splattering or sprinkling.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They just only take the blood and put it on the horns. He will pour out the rest of the blood at the base of the altar.
Well, that's a little cleaner.
It's weird, though. What? Why?
I don't know.
If it's certain people...
We went from splattering to sprinkling to...
Skip it all together?
Yeah, just to putting some on the horns.
Then he must remove all the goat's fat, just as he does with the fat of the peace offering. He will burn the fat on the altar, and it will be a pleasing aroma to the Lord. Through this process, the priest will purify the people, making them right with the Lord, and they will be forgiven. If the people bring a sheep as their sin offering, it must be a female with no defects. It seems stupid that they would waste a female, because the females are necessary. You only need a few males per dozen females.
Right.
And it seems really stupid to get rid of a female animal.
I mean, the whole thing really seems pretty stupid.
Yeah. This doesn't seem scientifically, biologically, socially, economically sound.
I mean, they just tossed their gold at fucking Aaron to make a golden calf,
So they aren't the brightest.
I mean, I'm just saying.
It's true. They must lay a hand on the head of the sin offering and slaughter it at the place where burnt offerings are slaughtered. Then the priest will dip his finger in the blood of the sin offering and put it on the horns of the altar for burnt offerings. He will pour out the rest of the blood at the base of the altar. Then he must remove all the sheep's fat, just as he does with the fat of a sheep presented as a peace offering. He will burn the fat on the altar on top of the special gifts presented to the Lord. Through this process, the priest will purify the people from their sin, making them right with the Lord, and they will be forgiven. The end. Okay. Do you feel enlightened?
No.
No. Do you feel more confused and, bewildered and, what the fuck and why?
I mean,
why?
You know that trope where people fall asleep in church, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like this is why it happens, because... You're literally sitting here listening to the same damn thing over and over and over again. And it's so fucking boring.
Not only does it not make sense, not only is it stupid, not only is it arbitrary, but then you have to listen to it over and over again.
Right. Yeah.
That's ugh.
Right. I don't think they covered... I've been to church before. I don't remember them covering stuff like this.
I don't either.
I feel like these are the parts of the Bible that they're like, this is too boring to cover. We're just never going to touch this shit.
Ever.
Right. Unless we have to go back to slaughtering animals, then maybe we'll pull out the rules.
I guess.
But whatever.
Ugh.
All right. Well, I think we're done.
We are. Yeah? We're done.
Okay.
We're done.
Let's just get out of here then.
Yeah. We'll see you guys next week for Leviticus chapters 5 and 6.
Leviticus.
Husband.
Wife.
Can I say the things now?
Yes.
Okay. So you had a list of items that you wanted people to check out?
Yeah, definitely. Make sure you check us out on Twitter. We are there under the handle sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'd have gone with that.
Yep.
We also would love to get emails from you because we love hate mail, fan mail, the whole 9 yards there. That email address is sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. And we are now on YouTube. And if you are listening to us on YouTube, you're going to be running a little bit behind what our schedule is for our podcast, because you're going to be hearing stuff from 2 months before if you are caught up.
You're in the past. So
you should join us on our podcasting apps that are available. So you can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify.
I'm on Castbox.
Yeah, my wife's special. She's on Castbox.
I like Castbox.
And then on any of the things that you're on, we always would love it if you would like and subscribe. That helps us out so much. So
Yeah, do those things.
Do those things, and we will see you guys next week.
Sure we will. It's on Thursdays.
Yeah, that.
Okay, bye.